好，我们在这个影片要跟大家邀请到的是来自美国纽约州的Peter 和其 full name
Peter Pashoukos.
Peter Pashoukos，他住在 New York State。New York State is not New York City 纽约，我以为你说哇，你住在纽约的市中心，他说不是的，因为纽约很小，在一个市中心，就几乎没有人住在这里。是一个市中心的话，大家来这边上班，来这边干嘛？就住在整个纽约州的外围这样子。旁边就是加拿大之类的，我也没有去过美国，就好。所以今天非常荣幸可以邀请到Peter来跟大家分享一些东西。这个我想Peter在纽约，那我们有什么东西是美国本土比较特别的？那Peter就说，那我们来讲 blues， 因为在台湾我们很多人会玩 blues， 没有错，我们都知道 like Wipeout like 什么歌曲，但是我们请到一个最传统、最纯正的这个 blues 的故乡的这个人。So blues is from U.S.A, right?
It is. It was blues started as a way for the slaves in the fields to communicate. And what they would do is do something called a blues holler, and so they would yell and they would sing these hymns and gospel songs, and it was a way to alert the other slaves when it was time to eat, when the master was coming, or anything else. Eventually that evolved into instruments, and what they would use is anything from wires to a broom, and they would attach them to two different surfaces, tighten them, and then use a bar or a slide to create an instrument. And that eventually evolved into the guitar.
好，关于这一段呢，好，我们翻译之后来跟大家说明。那今天呢，我们请 Peter 来教到我们讲的这个是blues in A key 的 blues。So first chord is A7，A 或者 A7，and second is D or D7。那 D7 有两种，一种是simple D7 is like this， 或者是像这样子封闭的这个都是可以的。好，那第三个是 E7 right？ And finally back to A7.
Yeah, back to the A.
Okay. What is blues? The rules of blues.
The roots of blues?
Yeah, like.
Well, you know, they've gone through some changes. There's everything from country blues, which is more acoustic. In the 1940s, you have individuals like Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy that moved to the cities like Chicago for work in the meatpacking plants and the various industries. And so that's where blues went from acoustic to electric when they needed to be heard by more people in the loud cities. And it's continued to evolve from there, from acoustic to electric, yeah.
So when we play blues, it's maybe 12 bars. A circle is 12 bars. And have a main idea in blues?
Well, you know, I guess blues by name seems like a sad music, but really it's a form of therapy. Blues players tend to look at it as a happy music, as a way to talk about problems, as a way to just express yourself in a more constructive way. And like many folk types of folk music, there's also a historical aspect, and you know, leading back to America and the shameful history of slavery, and so these are ways to keep history fresh.
Yeah, also can talking about a love story. Because when I listen to B.B. King, he maybe always thinks, "Oh, baby, you're so beautiful."
Yeah. A lot of it is that it's either love somebody or the person is leaving you, right. Or it could be just geography, how hard it is. There's a song called 40 Acres and a Mule, which is what was awarded to African American citizens after the Emancipation Proclamation. And so a lot of it comments on history.
So as I feel, blues sing something is very straight emotion. It's very straight emotion. Oh, I'm very loving you. Please don't go. Just how you sing and say. So if we just play instrument, we not sing. you will how to arrange a melody in your blues solo.
Sure. Yeah.
Can you share some tips?
Of course. Open strings.
Open string.
Okay, like as opposed to a ukulele on a guitar, a lot of blues is played in the key of E, which would be played like this, or like this if there was, because there'd be two more strings right here.
Yeah.
And so a big part of blues is being able to hit the open strings.
Open string.
Yes. So
I accompany. Can you show like an open string?
Sure.
2, 3, go. So you mean you use many strings is open string, not to push too many.
Right, like a lot of it is just right here.
Oh, you have a sound. You have a sound blues score, right?
Sure, yeah.
Can you just?
It's a minor pentatonic scale.
Oh, minor tones.
Yeah, exactly. So if this wasn't open, it would basically be 4-1-4-1-3-1-3-1.
Ah.
But what I do is hit the passing notes many times, and then on the root note.
哦，所以它可以有一些无声音阶或小调音阶的这个组成，然后来进行变化。但是你也可以加入一些半音，也可以是一个，都是可以，is allowed, right?
Yes.
Okay. So open string means like this.
Yeah, I mean it just adds for makes for a bigger sound. A lot of times blues players, to accommodate their voice, as opposed to playing in a different key, they will capo way up the neck just for the ability to play in the key of E because of the open strings.
Oh.
And because of the specific sound that you can get. Very similar to American music in bluegrass, well, with a guitar they would play in G and utilize the open strings.
Oh.
Yes.
So that's because open string were simple to sing and feel more nature.
And that, and also it's just economic because when you're chording here, the notes are here. So you're not moving up and down the neck. There's much that you can play.
Pull over or something.
Exactly. So it's economic in nature as well.
For dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. 所以他们要在这个开放弦比较多的情况下，他们说有时候你要弹某个调性，他就会用 capo 去把它夹住，他宁可要去用 capo 去制造这个开放弦，是因为这开放弦可以有比较广的这个动态，这个 range 会比较广，像是这种，或是如果你按住，你如果是按一些就不好去做这个，它就比较声音会比较小，所以在做这个 blues 的时候，如果你是一个 melody， 你是一个旋律的角色，你就可以用更多的这个开放弦。So you will use the capo on ukulele when you play out of key.
Yeah, to accommodate your voice, you know. And so a lot of, like I said, a lot of times blues players prefer to stay in E, and bluegrass players prefer to stay in G. Because there's so many, just so many licks, so many runs that are common in that genre. And so, I mean, in bluegrass, something like that. But yeah, there are guys that will capo up to 7 frets just so they can get the Albert Collins. Albert Collins is one. He would have a capo way up here, you know, because but the tone he was getting was fantastic, you know. Not everybody in blues, you got to think, it's not something that was really taught people. Blues is generally something that's self-taught, you know, especially going back. People were just, it's not like there was an internet or even TV going back then. And so it was something where you listen and you just tried to emulate the sound. And trying to play bar chords.
Bar chords.
It can sound stifled, you know? I mean, they're wonderful for other styles of music.
But
for blues, open keys work a little better.
I see. 所以当你在这个练习这个 blues 的时候， 他的意思是说，也许你用这个封闭和弦可以解决一些问题，可是毕竟封闭，你还是用了一个手指头，你还是会比较不灵活，而且那个声音也会不一样，因为你这边按的会确实有一些限制，所以要用 capo 或是移调其他的这个调会比较适合。Okay, so when you are accompanying blues, can you give us some tips?
Yeah, less is more. You know, a lot of times the bass in blues music, less is more.
少就是多，你不要觉得自己是 coming 就弹的少一点。
Right. More like. Leaves room for the bass to push the melody, and also for the lead to play as well. So comping chords in blues is very much staccato. You know, very much.
Yes, like this.
Yeah. And you know, there's slow blues, there's fast blues, and so. But you know, the idea is that you don't want the rhythm to stomp over the lead. You know, like you want to have the rhythm be the locomotive of the song, but the lead has to be able to come through very clearly.
Oh, can you give an example?
Sure. So, just like what I was doing right there.
Cool.
Thank you.
So blues in American ukulele players is very popular. People like to play blues.
Not so much. I think as far as I know, I'm the only ukulele player that's playing blues on a ukulele.
Really?
Yeah, it's I mostly the ukulele players I know are playing more traditional George Formby style, you know, the older style of ukulele playing. But I don't know many on a ukulele that play it. It's a little bit more difficult because you're not emulating as much sound, you know, and you obviously don't have as many open strings. Like on a guitar, if I was playing an E, I would always be able to use this note and this note as a drone note, you know? So it's a little bit more difficult, and so you have to kind of be creative with your voicings. But, you know, blues is a feeling. And you can translate a feeling to any instrument.
Yes,
you know.
I know. And in ukulele, if play blues in high G is better or low G is better?
I would say that for me, it's easier for me because coming from a guitar background in blues, but I don't think it's impossible. I think it might sound a little unique. You know, but I mean, before I switched to the low G, I still played it, you know, but it was different, you know, a little bit different, just not having that, the low note kind of like holding it down, you know, but that doesn't mean you can't do it, you know, there's no rules in music or blues.
Yes. OK， 我们非常开心可以请到这个 Peter 来跟我们分享blues 这个东西。那 blues 当然是一种感觉，也是 feeling， 所以感觉一种 blues 的精神，比你去记住它的和弦，或是记住它的节奏都来得重要。I tell you, the blues is a feeling. So important thing is not recording the chord and not remember the chord or remember the skill. Is try to feel in the blues.
It is because it's not. There are licks and riffs, but blues is not a discipline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blues can be anything from 3 notes.
3 notes.
Sure, if you listen to old blues singers, some like Son House, you know, really they had the instruments open tuned to E, and then they would just slide
like,
to the A and slide.
yeah.
Exactly, and they would slide to the A and then slide to the B. Right, so it's very primitive in that way. They're really not playing any single notes at all. You know? So it is a feeling, you know, and it could be somebody like Stevie Ray Vaughan, which plays 1,000,000 notes a minute, or it could be somebody like Muddy Waters or Son House that use their notes very sparingly and revolves maybe more around their voice. So there's a lot of blues players that show their stuff with guitars, and then there are a lot of blues players that their strengths come from their voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talking about you. You stay in New York, and how long time you play ukulele?
I played ukulele for about 5 years.
5 years. 5年弹 ukulele. How do you get started?
Because I've always worked part-time in a guitar shop.
Yes.
Because it's helpful, because I get discounts and get my instruments fixed, and, you know, all that sort of. It's a good job to have for a musician. And in this shop, we sell ukuleles. Inexpensive ones, more expensive ones.
Yes.
And as part of my job, it was to tune the instruments, and make sure they're clean. You know, normal things that you would do in the shop. Right, just normal things. And to be honest, I didn't really fall in love with the ukulele.
Yeah.
I fell in love with this ukulele. This was one on the shelf that I just found myself going back to and back to. And so I finally made the decision that I was going to buy it, and everything I've done now. And, you know, I have to say that it's improved my guitar playing as much as my guitar playing improves my ukulele playing. Because I find that they're very they match very well. You know, I mean, the foundation of the ukulele and the guitar is very similar. But yeah, I started playing because I was tuning them, and it wasn't any big revelation. It wasn't any. I didn't see a Jake Shimabukuro video. You know,
that's okay.
Right, but it was just picking up this instrument and realizing how beautiful it sounded.
That's real
you
prayer.
know?
That's real prayer.
Yeah.
You don't just follow.
Right. I fell into it, you know?
Yeah, it's okay. So you have a website. How about introduce to everybody?
Yes. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Pete Plays Strings.
P means Peter.
Yeah.
P and
it's PETEPLAYSTRINGS. Pete Plays Strings.
Pete plays
Strings.
Strings. Okay. PLAYSTRINGS. Pete plays strings. Okay.
Pete Plays Strings. And I'll give you a card too, so if you have any questions.
Yes.
And then the website is PetePlaysStrings.com.
.com. Okay. So 我们可以在日后持续关注Peter Pete Plays Strings and PetePlaysStrings.com。好，那今天我们这个影片就先跟大家说到这边，关于 Bruce 的一些简介，还有 Peter， 我们很开心认识他。Very happy to meet you.
Very happy to meet you.
And say aloha to Taiwan people.
Aloha.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.